Well, good morning, everyone. This is Curtis Hawks with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and I appreciate you taking some time with us today. We've got a special guest today. We've got Michele Kosiol. She oversees our life new business operations, and we've got a very important topic today, which is how do we help you close more life insurance business? We know it's not easy running your business and running appointments and meeting with clients, and so when you've got somebody who says, yes, I want to move forward, what are some things that we can do and resources that we have to help you make that as seamless of a process as possible? And so before getting into that topic, I did want to talk about some of the additional ways IAMS is here to be a helpful resource for you. First up, you'll see I've got our new producer builders here on the screen, and we've got a number of point totals up there. And so you automatically get enrolled into this when you're a newly contracted agent with us, and you can see there as you're producing, you can qualify for different, whether it's marketing, cash, gift cards, iPads, you name it, different things from Insurance Agency Marketing Services. And so this runs for your first 6 months with us. And if you've got questions on it, reach out, talk to one of the sales directors over here. That number is 800-255-5055. In addition to that, we've got our Refer Producer program. If you know of an agent who maybe isn't quite happy with their current IMO relationship or you think might be a good fit for us, send them our way. Not only will you get a $50 bonus when that agent gets contracted, but then on an ongoing basis, you will receive revenue based off of their production. You don't have to take care of any of the service. We'll handle all of that. And it's a great way to generate an additional revenue flow into your practice. In addition to that, we've got our marketing reimbursement program. You can see there that for every $100,000 of qualifying indexed annuity premium, you accrue $100 of marketing reimbursement, and then $200 for every $100,000 of single premium life, and $200 for every $10,000 of life target. And if you've got questions on that and want to learn more about it or how to use it, just reach out, talk to a sales director over here. That number is 800-255-5055. Back office support, we've got a host of resources. In fact, as I mentioned, we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive on that on the life new business side. But whether it's pre-sale or post-sale, we've got a host of resources. We've got a team of seasoned sales directors. We've got illustration support, new business support, contracting and licensing, commission, you name it. And so if you haven't tested that out, I would strongly encourage you to do so. In addition to that, we've got our IAMS portal. This is an amazing resource for our agents. We've got quoting software on there for annuities and life insurance and final expense. You can download applications. You can do e-applications. You can get industry information on a weekly basis of all of the current rate adjustments. We've got our marketing corner. We also have our sales resource library on there as well, which is literally a library of hundreds of point-of-sale pieces that you can instantly download and use in your practice. And you just need to be contracted to be able to get access to that. So if you've got questions, reach out, talk to a sales director over here. That number is 800-255-5055. Taking a little bit of a deeper dive here on the eApp platform, you can see we integrate with Firelight, iPipeline, and Sunfire. That is going to cover the majority of the carriers that are out there. And just to show you an example of that, you can see Firelight here. They integrate with the majority of the annuity carriers that are out there. They also integrate with some of the life companies. And then we've also got iPipeline, which is going to integrate with the majority of the life insurance companies, and then Sunfire for Medicare sales. Our creative department, creative really is the key word. They spend a significant amount of their time helping advisors just like you grow and develop their brand within their business, and a variety of other projects outside of that. And I think in today's day and age, your digital brand is more important than it's ever been before. We certainly have seen a transition in the marketplace to where there's a significant volume of appointments, or even the initial nurturing of the prospect digitally, over the phone, via Zoom, etc. And so the thing to remember about that is that consumer will look you up. They will look at who did I just meet with, or who am I going to be having a meeting with. And so it's more important now than it's ever been before to have a strong, robust digital presence, and the team does an amazing job on that. The other thing I would mention to you as well is we do provide a complimentary marketing analysis. So if you're thinking about your business and what your goals are and you're not quite sure how to get there, reach out and talk to a sales director over here. They'll get that scheduled, and the team will put together a customized marketing plan for you. We also have IAMS Wealth Management, and I'm going to launch the first of 3 polls today. So I'll go ahead and get this launched here. IAMS Wealth Management, we built this out several years ago, and we did that because we certainly have seen a growing trend that's continued to be the case, which is more and more advisors are looking at AUM as an important piece of their business. And so I think we've developed a very robust platform that is very highly focused on service. And so if you've thought about getting your 65 and have questions on it and want to know the process, go ahead and check yes there. And also, if you're currently 65 licensed and not quite happy with your current RI relationship, Charles, Duncan, the team over there do an amazing job. And so they're always available to have a conversation. So I'll go ahead and get this closed down here, and we'll keep moving along. Life and Annuity Academy. So we're really excited about this. We are actually getting ready to make an announcement on our first date for the year, which is going to be May 15th through the 17th. But these really are amazing trainings. When you're out in the field, you're spending your time working in your business, prospecting, marketing, meeting with clients, dealing with the carriers and the IMOs. This is a great opportunity to spend some time focused on your business. And so I'll go ahead and launch our second poll here. We bring in top producers to present on best practices. We talk about current annuity and life insurance trends. We talk about the most current marketing trends. And so there's a lot of really good ideas, tools, et cetera, that you can take away from this and immediately implement in your practice. So if you've got interest in this, these do fill up relatively quickly. We'll do several of them over the course of the year, but definitely check yes, and we'll have a sales director reach out to you on that. So I'll go ahead and get this poll closed down here. Lastly, like and follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. We put out a lot of content each and every day, and this is one of the best ways to instantly see that. So I'm going to go ahead and get our main presentation pulled up here. While I'm doing that, as I mentioned, we've got a really important topic today. We're going to be talking through what are best practices with life new business. We've certainly seen over the last few years a lot of changes and adjustments at the carrier level on how they're processing business. In fact, you go back 5 years ago, accelerated underwriting wasn't even necessarily a topic that you'd even discuss, but now just about every carrier has that. And so we found that setting the stage the right way and understanding what the process is can really help make the process much more seamless. And in addition to that, we'll talk about some additional tips and best practices for doing business. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Michele. She's agreed to take a little bit of time with us this morning and go through a deep dive. So Michele, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Good morning. Thank you. So just a little bit about us. So we are here to help you through the entire process from start to finish. And once your application and your client is completed and they have their policy, we don't just stop there. We also help with the back end stuff. So if the client needs to change a beneficiary, or if they need to change an owner, or if the client has unfortunately passed away and you need help with getting that death claim started, you can call my team and we can help get that started for you and walk you kind of through a little bit of how that works and what is needed.
One more thing too that I just thought of that I should have mentioned as I was doing the intro is if as we're going through this, if any of you have questions, just put in the chat box and I can certainly ask Michele that, and we can go through that as we're going through.
Yeah. So we're here to help assist with illustrations and carrier placement. If you have a client that you are wanting to write business on and you're not sure what carrier would be best, give us a call, talk to one of the sales directors. We do have an in-house underwriter as well. So if your client has any type of medical conditions or ailments, you can talk to her and she can kind of try and find the best carrier to place your business. Our goal is to just submit one application and be done. We don't want for you as the agent to have to submit an application, and if the carrier comes back with an adverse rating or a decline, we don't want to have to shop around and try and find another carrier. We want to be able to try and place that business where it belongs to begin with. We're also here to assist with any of your questions. If you need a questionnaire for any type of ailment, so say for diabetes, or if your client has heart disease, you can call and talk to one of the sales directors, and they can send you out that questionnaire, and that again will help us find the best carrier to place that business. If you need an illustration, our team is here to help with that as well. You do have access to some illustrations that you can run for yourself for the term and the GUL, and I believe
Final expense.
Final expense
yeah,
now
that was a new
too.
thing we launched at the beginning of the year. Yep.
Yeah, so you have all of that at your fingertips, so you don't have to wait for our office to run those for you. So if it's after hours and you are meeting with a client, you can run those illustrations yourself and just get those quick quotes. If you're submitting a paper application, our team will review that application to ensure the accuracy and make sure that everything is complete before we submit that application. We don't want to submit it to the carrier and then have to keep going back and forth with you and you having to go back and forth with your client to try and obtain all that information. We want to try and get it all on the back side so that we can submit a clean application. We also assist with enforced policies. We order Paramed exams and medical records when they're requested from the underwriter. So we do all of that here within our office. Before submitting an application, as I had mentioned, quoting a client with medical history or issues, request the screening questionnaire from our sales directors so that we can get that placed the first time and not have to keep trying to shop out and have to keep having those clients sign new applications and go through the underwriting again. We need to set those expectations with the clients on the time frames, exams, and inspections. So what my team will do is once that application is submitted, we will let you know, okay, so an email has been sent out to your client to complete an online part 2, or we're going to be ordering a Paramed exam, so let your client know to be expecting that call to get that exam scheduled as quickly as possible. So our team is going to provide you with time frames and expectations as well so that you can then get those expectations to your clients. The other thing is before you submit an application with a carrier, it's very important to make sure that you are contracted and that your contracting is still active and in good order before submitting those applications. If you submit an application and you are not contracted, or if your contracting is not in good order, that's going to hold up that application from being issued by the carrier.
Well, and I think one actually pretty simple thing on that is, we've got a CRM system that we work off of. So if you're working casework with a sales director, you can ask them. They can look it up right there. Obviously, the new business team is going to check that when an application comes in. But if you're talking with the sales director about a case, it takes them 2 seconds to look it up and see. And then if you're not, they can go ahead and get that order put in there and take care of that right then and there.
Yes, exactly. And then the other big thing is, if you're not already, make sure you get registered for our website, the IAMSinc.com. As Curtis had explained earlier, that's where you're going to find the e-applications and the Firelight applications. And the e-applications do make things a lot easier and they're more streamlined. They make sure that the applications are complete before they get submitted to our office to approve and submit to the carrier. If you are completing a paper application, I know that there are some carriers, so Gerber, if you're completing your first application, that does have to be a paper application. So if you are completing one, make sure that you're reaching out to our office and you're obtaining the most current application packet. The carriers do change forms throughout the year, so we want to make sure that we are submitting the most current forms in order to not have to go back and have the client have to complete something over again. Make sure if there are medical questions that the client is disclosing all of that information. I know that they do have some worries about, well, if I'm submitting this, is it going to be confidential? It is confidential. The only people that are going to see that information is your client, our office, and the carrier. They will not pass that information on or sell any information. And then if your client is a foreign national, make sure that you are obtaining the citizenship country, a copy of their visa, green card, or proof of citizenship for these foreign citizens. If we can provide that information up front, then again, it will prevent from us having to go back to the client and asking for that information. Another key point is if you do have a foreign citizen, a lot of the carriers are requiring that foreign travel questionnaire to be completed as well. So if it's not part of the application, make sure you're calling in and obtaining that from our office. Some submission tips. So if you do have a paper application, you can upload that to our website at theiamsinc.com. You can email it to we have a specific email address for the Life team. That's thelife@iamsinc.com. Or you can fax it to 402-330-7296. As stated earlier, if you do use the iGo and Firelight eApp solutions, we will get those submitted quicker and to the carrier, and the carrier seems to be able to process those a little bit quicker as well because they are typically in good order. Make sure that you're providing full details for the yes medical questions. So if the client has been seen by a physician recently, make sure you're putting that physician's name, phone number, address, the reason for the visit, if there's any follow-ups, and the results from that visit. And then make sure that all the personal, medical, and beneficiary information is complete and accurate on those paper applications.
Well, and I think that's a really important thing because, you know, if we know that there's some type of significant medical condition, to the point that you mentioned, we've got an in-house underwriter, so we can have her take a look at it. It also lets us know if maybe we might need to order medical records earlier in the process instead of just waiting for the underwriter to review it. And so, you know, the team tries to take a very proactive approach. And so the more we know about that client, the better we can set expectations. And then if we know there's going to be things that down the road we're going to need, then maybe we can take care of that right now and we can shorten some of that time frame.
Yes. Remember that just because it says it's a non-med or that it's accelerated underwriting does not mean that it's a guarantee issue. So if we're submitting an application and we're hoping for it to go through accelerated underwriting, once it goes through that initial review, it's not guaranteed to go through without the means of having to have a Paramed exam or medical records requested. It just means that they're going to consider it for the accelerated underwriting.
And we let them know that too, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yep, we do. So during the underwriting process, a lot of carriers have moved to the online part 2s or phone interviews. So encourage your clients to get those completed as quickly as possible. The sooner that they can get those completed, the sooner the file can get to the underwriter for that initial review. If they're filling out a paper part 2, so if you're submitting a paper application and you're completing those medical records or those medical questions, again, make sure that all of the questions are completed, and if there are any yes answers, that they provide as much detail as possible, because this, again, will prevent us from having to go back and ask additional questions of the clients.
Yeah, and I've always felt like it's setting client expectations is a big deal on this, because you figure they're going to either get a phone call from a phone number they don't know, or they're going to get an email from an email address that they don't know. So being able to tell them here, you know, here's what to expect, or look for this email, or look for this phone number, or I mean, even on the phone calls, I believe, I mean, the agent can just call into that too. Like once the app's in the system with some of the carriers.
There's some carriers, yes, that you can call in and you can do that with the client over the phone, yes.
Okay.
And I do know with North American, as soon as we receive those applications, if it's not after business hours, we do submit those to the carrier as soon as we receive them. And then once it's submitted to the carrier, the online part 2 is going out to the client. So if you wanted to sit with the client and help them through those questions, that's an option as well if you're meeting with them in person.
Yeah.
So when a Paramed exam is required, make sure that you are telling the client to fast for at least 4 to 6 hours prior to the exam. It's important to be well hydrated and to drink plenty of water. This will help with the blood draws as well as if urine is needing to be collected. Avoid alcohol for at least 12 hours prior to exam. And avoid strenuous exercise for at least 12 hours prior to the Paramed exam. This will help keep your blood pressure where it needs to be. If you're drinking or if you're smoking or if you're doing strenuous exercise, this is going to raise your blood pressure and other lab results as well. If the client is on prescriptions, make sure that they have a list of those prescriptions, the dosages, and the physicians that have prescribed those for them. And then if an EKG is needed, make sure that you are advising your clients to wear comfortable clothing. Nobody wants to do a stress test in dress pants and dress shoes or heels. Once a case is approved, our case managers here will request issue instructions either by phone or by email. These issue instructions we need to know, so if the case is approved as applied for, just if the client wants to make any changes, so if they want to change it from monthly to semi-annual billing, or if they're wanting to make some adjustments to their face amount because it's either too high or too low, those are the types of information that we need at the time that you submit those issue instructions. If the application is approved other than applied for, or if it is declined, when we send out those emails are going directly to our in-house underwriter, and she is taking a look at all of those to see if there is something else that we can do, or if she thinks that there may be a little bit of wiggle room, and if we can get those applications approved as applied for if they come back adverse ratings. The policies will be delivered either paper or e-policy. A lot of our carriers are now moving to the e-policies, which makes delivering a little easier for you. So if you have a client that's out of state, they're going to receive that e-policy. They're going to be able to sign it. You don't have to mail it. You don't have to drive to go and see them anymore to deliver those policies. And then once the delivery requirements are completed and submitted to the carrier, the case managers here will notify you that the policy has been in place and force and will provide you with that policy effective date.
Yeah, and I think on this process, once it's approved, communication is key. I mean, it's important throughout the process, but I know sometimes, we send out that notification, we'll know it's approved, and the agent might think, oh, great, awesome, it's going to issue out, I should have the policy here shortly. And oftentimes, as you mentioned, they need issue instructions. And so if you see that case manager is emailing you or calling you, that's where you want to get back to them, because that's what they're waiting on, so that way they can have the carrier pull the trigger and get that out to you so you can get it delivered.
Yeah, so our case managers are going to be picking up the phone. They're going to be calling you more than they're going to be emailing you. We found that we get better results if we pick up the phone and call, and it helps us build those relationships with the agents as well, so that those agents can get familiar with us and our team and how everything works. So if you're receiving a phone call from them, it's typically because we need something. They're not just calling to say hi, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but it's usually because we need something.
Yeah.
So these are our life team contacts. So these are your sales directors. So we have Curtis on there. Tony Butler is a life sales director. Beth, Paul, John Lemaster, they're all sales directors. So if you have a client that you need some help with before you sit down with them, go ahead and give one of these sales directors a call or shoot them an email. When you call in, just ask for them. We don't have extensions. We don't have voicemails. You will get a live person every time you call in, which is something that's nice with here at IAMS is we do pick up the phone. You're not going to talk to a robot. So we have Kat also, who is a life sales associate. She is going to be helping with illustrations and making outbound calls as well. And then there's Andrea, who is our in-house underwriter. So again, if you have a client that has heart conditions or has diabetes or has a combination of health ailments, you can go ahead and call in and ask to talk to her. She has plenty of years of experience, and she's more than happy to talk to you and kind of try and find where to place that case.
Well, another thing I would mention as well is, we're doing a training right now on Life New Business Best Practices. Andrea does a webinar each month on different underwriting topics as well, and so that's something to be on the lookout for as well, because I think like the next topic actually that she's going to be doing is cancer, and the previous one was diabetes, and so there's a lot of, she takes a deep dive on it of what to consider, how to field underwrite it, and then, what are maybe some carriers to look at based off of those impairments. So it's very educational.
The next is the life case management team. So there's myself, we have Kim, Chrissy, Leslie, Mandy, and Cynthia. We all have many years of experience, and we're very well versed with things. So what's nice about our team as well is each case manager is assigned a certain carrier. That way we are all well versed and familiar with those specific carriers. So when you're getting a phone call from one specific case manager on carriers, that's why, because they are your specified case manager. It doesn't mean that nobody else can help you. If that case manager is not available, just ask for an available case manager, and any of us can help you.
Well, we actually just added another case manager this week that's got a very strong background as well, and that's part of our commitment to being able to really take a proactive approach to what we're doing.
Yep. Excited to get her up and going.
Yep. So, Michele, obviously, a lot of things to consider when it comes to new business, but I think one of the key points here is that all of you on this call, you've got a really strong team behind you that is working and touching and managing these cases, and I think that's a big difference too. We talk at times, I think, about case statusing and case management, and those are really two different things. The new business team's job is not just relay information, but really try and look at how can we affect this, how do we get it through quicker, and how do we get the highest placement ratio possible. And so everything with what they do, that's really how Michelle's structured that, is a focus on that of what is the end result, how do we get to yes. So a couple of things here as we wrap up. One, we've got our life insurance sales kit available, a host of really amazing resources for prospecting, for point of sale. We've got a lot of good content in there for sales strategies and ideas that you can incorporate into your business. In addition to that, we've also put together our life insurance best practices guide. And this is a deeper dive into what we talked about today that you can use as a reference point when you're working on your life insurance sales. And so what I'll go ahead and do right now is I'll launch the last of our polls here, which is if you'd like to get the sales kit and the life insurance best practices guide, just check yes there. And then I guess a couple of key points here. I think, last year life insurance was an amazing year. I think this year is going to be even bigger. When I look at the landscape, when we look at what's going on legislatively with potential tax increases, using life insurance as an asset class, I think is a very attractive option. The other thing I would say too is that we have continued to see carriers trying to make the process easier. Actually just this week, we saw Allianz is going to go up to $5 million for accelerated underwriting. And so you're seeing carriers try to leverage technology and do things to make it easier to generate those sales and then get that sales process, that new business process, as short as possible. So I think there's a ton of opportunity in the marketplace right now. And so in any case, make sure you're working with your sales directors. And again, you've got a strong case management team here as well. Make sure you're working with them when you've got business in-house. If they're calling you, as Michele kind of joked around, it's not just to say hi and see how things are going. They've got some information that they want to get out to you, or they need some information from you so they can keep that case moving. So I'll go ahead and I'll close down our final poll here. And Michele, appreciate you taking some time with us this morning, and appreciate everybody taking some time on the call today. We are going to record this, so if you want to go back and review it, we'll have that up here a little bit later today. But appreciate it, everyone.
Thank you.